Who wants to smell like anyone else, right? Hey Fora, Manny back here with another video on the CascadeScents fragrance station, and this one is on my top 5 must-try exclusive fragrances. Now before we get on with everything, the goal for this video is 500 likes. If we reach that goal, I'll randomly PM any subscriber who leaves a comment down below for their details, as you'll be the recipient of a random niche fragrance sample pack. So please make sure that your YouTube profile is able to send and receive messages, and to be subscribed if you haven't been so already. Now when I mean exclusive, I mean you'll have to probably go to an actual brand counter or boutique for some of this stuff. Some of these are even so rare that they're city exclusives and can't be found unless you go to those specific global metropolitan areas. Now part of me likes to acquire rare stuff like this because these are fragrances after all. It's one of the things that I as a fragrance user take pride in differentiating myself from the rest of the pack as far as my fragrances. So if you also have that inner hipster in you, or if you just really enjoyed the fragrance journey, like literally because you'll probably have to travel for some of these, then maybe this is the video for you. So we'll start off with the first must-try exclusive for now. Here's Tiffany for Men by Tiffany. Yes, Tiffany makes men's accessories as well as fragrances, and the reason you might not have smelled this one, let alone heard of it, is because Tiffany has super tight distribution. Like, you can only cop their goods at official Tiffany counters or stores. That being said, why is this stuff specifically worth pursuing to try? Well, it depends on if you're like me and are a fan of Chanel type fragrances, because the nose behind Tiffany for Men is none other than longtime Chanel nose Jacques Polge, who eerily dropped both this fragrance along with Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette Concentré with Chanel in the same year. And I say eerily because these fragrances are nearly identical. Both are super bright and powdery, but I believe that this one in Tiffany for Men is far superior, mainly because it has one of the best designer level sandalwood bases ever made, in my opinion. So if you're a fan of sandalwood scents or gentlemanly classic scents in general, I'd say that this one is not too dated in its approach, and I still think it's super flattering to this day, so I'd say it's definitely worth checking out. Again, it's Tiffany for Men by Tiffany. Next on today's must-try list is from the esteemed house of Guerlain. It's from their Les Parisiens line, and it is called Chamade pour Homme. Now I recently picked this stuff up at the Guerlain boutique on Bloor Street in Toronto, but I initially dropped in with the intention of copying their B instead, another one of my favorites from this masculine line. But I was addicted to how clean and vibrant Chamade pour Homme just jumped off my skin, so I ended up getting this one. Bright bergamot and fresh spicy black peppery opening, but you get rushed into the hyacinth and violet right away, which is the majority of the fragrance, followed with some soft woods and leather towards the base. Super gentlemanly but not dated, if that makes any sense. Now if you're one of those guys who tend to follow the tropes of contemporary men's fragrances, and there's nothing wrong with that by the way, but now you want something a little bit more sophisticated in maybe a greener, unique kind of way, this may be right up your alley. You know, I think it's worth trying out. Again, it's Chamade pour Homme by Guerlain. On to the next must-try fragrance now. Here's Creed's Zeste Mandarine Pamplemousse. Now ZMP flies under the radar because, let's be real, in the dedicated grassroots fragrance community, the majority of us only care about the stuff that we can get for a ridiculously discounted rate, like most of the standard Creed line. But that doesn't mean we should overlook certain cornerstone gems, and I'd argue that this is one of them. Especially if you're a contemporary Creed head or fanboy, I think it's imperative that you do give this one a shot whenever you can, because after all, this was the scent that signaled a change of everything for House of Creed, as it was actually Olivier Creed's 6th generation's first ever fragrance under his own name. Now believe it or not, the House of Creed before Olivier under his father James Henry Creed 5th generation was actually not as fresh as a house as it is now, as it was actually way more experimental with other kind of genres. But of course, Olivier Creed has since freshened everything up since then, but again, it started with this one right here. And if you do give this one a shot, I'm willing to preface that this one does not actually smell like it's over 40 years old. But of course, it is over 40 years old, which is why I think that Olivier Creed, when he did release this, was actually way ahead of his time as a perfumer. For example, I believe that the bright citruses and wet white florals from ZMP right here smell no older than like Arolfa to me, which of course debuted nearly 20 years later. Of course, I think that stuff is equally divine, but just like it, ZMP here just suffers from really poor performance. But what do you expect? It's an OG Creed freshie, right? But with its divine smell alone, and to furthermore get attuned with the Creed brand, I definitely think it's worth hitting up a Creed boutique or a local counter for this if you can. Again, it's Zeste Mandarine Pamplemousse, or ZMP for short, by Creed. On to my next must-try exclusive. Here it is. It's Single Malt by Kilian. Now, I've yet to cover any BK fragrances, and to be honest, it's mainly because working at a bar in my past has led me to have a disdain for overtly boozy scents, which BK fragrances typically are. But this right here to me smells strikingly more warm and cozy before maybe reminding me of what it actually is verbatim in single malt liquor, of course. You also have some gourmand elements in here with wheat, plum, and vanilla, and altogether it just embodies situations like a cozy night in with some loved ones. I'd say that this differs from its common comparison in apple brandy, for example, which to me is more like a let's go out and get wasted type scent with its eerily accurate representation of brandy. But clearly this and single malt is my preference between the two. That being said, it is just super hard to test this stuff out in real life because it's only an exclusive to BK's London location. So if you're in that area of the world, definitely check this out. If you haven't yet, I definitely think it's worth checking out. Or if you ever feel like gambling, you can always pick these up on the BK website. For whatever reason, their city exclusives are always available online, so they're not as exclusive as maybe they make them out to be. But you know, I don't advocate blind buying, but again, blind buy at your own risk if you really want to. But again, this is only a must-try video. But I swear this one's definitely a really big must-try for me. Gonna get a lot of wares out of this into winter. Again, it's Single Malt by Kilian. And last but not least, with my final must-try fragrance, here it is, another London exclusive. It's Labo's Poivre 23. Now, to preface this one, it's a little harder to get because it's only available worldwide online and at other Labo boutiques and counters in the month of September every year. Otherwise, you can only try it or cop it at the London Labo location during every other month of the year. But the question is it worth seeking out in the first place? And my answer is an emphatic yes. For I typically don't handle spice well, mainly because my olfactory finds it too sharp in a fresh, spicy way, especially peppers, but in this case, the bourbon pepper is just to die for. In conjunction with the smoky and soft woody notes along with the vanilla, it may just be one of the best orientals I've ever smelled. Like here I have a pepper that I'm actually enthralled with the dry vanilla dry down of an Angelique Noir by Guerlain. But it also nearly matches Angie Black's level of performance with crazy longevity and adequate projection. But if it has something that the super formal Angie Black doesn't have, it's definitely more versatile. Maybe I just perceive the pepper here as a more conventional note rather than the Angelica root here because I just think that this one is more common maybe, but at least it helps the way I feel about the scent altogether. Like I definitely feel like I can reach for this any cool weather day or nightly occasion, barring work, which I definitely can't with this right here. So for a fragrance of this price point, I'll definitely take anything on top of it besides its scent, especially versatility. And again, you know what it is. If you don't know already, it's my favorite city exclusive from Labo. It's Poivre 23. So there it is for them. Hopefully you enjoyed my 5 must-try exclusive level fragrances. I know some of these are hella pricey, but they are exclusives after all. You're not only potentially buying into something of quality, but you're also buying into that rarity and exclusivity as well. Not saying that these are truly worth it for you. That's something you have to find out yourself. Again, this is only a must-try list. Anyway, this is the time of the video where I'd like for you guys to tell me in the comments, are there any exclusive that you think I should check out? What are some of your favorite rare exclusive fragrances, and what did you guys think of this video? Please let me know in the comments, please. Also, please subscribe and like if you haven't yet, as it really helps this channel a lot. Thank you for the support as always, and hopefully I see you later. Until then, take care, peace out, bye. Wear your fragrances.